Okay,
Go for it.
done. Go for it. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. I think everybody who's in the afternoon is actually at the TPAC in Asia, so they're not here. Thank you very much for joining. It's been a while. We haven't done a session for a while. I know that Mitch has been doing some great sessions with the 300 groups, and that's how we've kept the product alive. Thanks very much for that, Mitch. But we have actually got some good news for you guys as well in the beginning of the session, because obviously we're keeping our fingers on the pulse all the time, because we obviously are very involved in Sage 300. And we're going to start the session with me just giving you an overview of what's going on in the last 5 years with the product, because we are the only ones out there that are actually talking about Sage 300. And I'm talking now across the board of around the world. I noticed just before I go into these new sites and that, we've noticed that they've destroyed the product in Australia. It's absolutely almost totally gone. We've got 1 or 2 new sites a year that come into play. Asia, they've actually removed the Asian office. There's no more office in Asia, and they're running it from Australia, which obviously was a bit worrying for the dealers in Asia. I think Canada's still going strong. I don't know about the North America. I'm not sure. I don't get much feedback from there, but it has gone quiet. And as you can know from the last session we had just the other day, I won't mention anything much, but there was no mention of our product, which is astounding and absolutely ridiculous. But we will discuss that in a bit more detail in the next few slides. And to give you an idea of how strong we actually are in Africa, is quite mind-blowing, to be honest with you. And it's shocking to think that we just get ignored. I'm obviously not going to harp on that too much, because we don't ignore. We go ahead and do things. We've done many articles in the IT web. Other people have, like Mitch and them, have formed groups of where the dealers have joined in a group and had great results on that. We haven't gone further. I won't go further. That Mitch will talk about that when he does his session on the 22nd. Am I right, Mitch? I think
yes, that's correct.
Correct. But it's in Africa, Sage 300, and this is no word of a lie, Sage 300 has never been stronger. So what I've noticed, and I've always noticed this over the years, whenever we've had opposition to our product, we tend to grow, because what happens is they look at other products, not even close to what we're offering, not even near the technology we have, and we grow because they realize they can't go there. They've got to come back to us. And every year we have growth. So just to give you an overview of the last 5 years, you can see there's over 400 new users from Peresoft. We get 400 new users a year, which is that's nearly 6,000 users in the last 5 years, which is phenomenal. Okay, and new sites, over 100 new sites a year in this market where everybody already has accounting software. That again is unheard of. It's phenomenal, and that is mostly Africa and South Africa. 100 new sites a year, and we're also starting to get much more cloud penetration with our product. Which is becoming 100, maybe even more every next year, where we're selling our web UIs and people are installing the web and the cloud. They like the way the cloud works with 300. Let's be honest, 400 cloud sites is great. This is not users. Obviously, there's 400 users per year. That's not 400 cloud sites in the last 5 years is actually shows you that the product is starting to grab hold of the market and become more popular. I think most of these sites are incredibly happy because, okay, so let's just first go, before we say how happy they are, let's first go through just all the versions. And you can see that we actually we version mad. I mean, if you look at DOS, we went 1.0 to 6.2 and actually went further than that, went to 7.0 as well. We haven't even got that on this chart. So DOS was going well, and then Windows came along and they decided they're going to release a new version every year. So look at that. We went from 1.0 in 95. We're now in 2025 on 7.2. So that's a lot of versions. And let's be honest, the major enhancements, sadly enough, although there've been a few enhancements in the actual DOS and in the on-premise version, the most of the enhancements we've put in now, we've put over 100 new features into Cashbook in the last 5 or 7 years. 100 new features. So it just shows you the growth that we've done to our product is amazing. And we've now reached a point where the automation, I will show you briefly in a few minutes, the automation process of a bank recon now is completely streamlined and really useful. Okay, just to give you a bit more statistics, the product users we've got over 3,000 users in Africa, probably about another 1,000, actually more than 3,000 users, Natalie, I think. I don't know where you got that figure, but we've got about 3,900 users, I'm sorry, installations, not users. And of those, about 900 of them are actually outside Africa. So 3,000 in Africa, including South Africa, is a lot of a lot of clients. I would say one of probably the most for a mid-market product. I don't see any product coming close to that number. 10 million to 100 million or even more turnover out there, up to even $1 billion of with the clients. It's a lot of sites. At 1,200 Rec Express, which is good, and I'd like to see that grow as people get to know how to work the product properly, because that Rec Express is a phenomenal product. And I will show in a few minutes how phenomenal it's become. It's one of the most fantastic products out there. And then, of course, EFT Express 1,200. And we've added 2 major features now in the 2025 version, which should then push that number of users up again. I had a few people go to other products because of lack of emailing and a few other things. But we have added all that, as you will see in our 2025 version. Okay. Renewals 99.9. I don't know why you put the 0.9, Natalie, but it's 99.9%. We keep a track record of all the users that do not renew and where they go to other products. And what we found is we lose very few. I think we lost 30, 40 clients to X3, of which half of them returned because they couldn't do a proper cash book in the product and they got stuck, so they had to come back. And they couldn't go back to manual reconciliations, and they've come back to our product. We have another list of who we've lost to Intact, and we haven't, I think, only about 20 or 15, if that many. But the most of the clients we lose is, funny enough, is to Pastel, Evolution, and cheaper products, okay, because they're finding it a little bit expensive to run the 300 product. But good food costs money, so we've got to be realistic. We're not selling peaches and pears. We're selling a very, very intense, very technologically advanced product, way advanced. In fact, I would say so advanced that people don't even realize how advanced the 300 product is. If they'd realize how well it was written and how technologically clever it's written, then they would probably never ever want to change, because it's got a huge future, if not another 10, maybe 20 years. I'll be in my coffin by the time that arrives, and I'll still believe it'll still be going very strong. Okay, so the growth in renewals, I put this on here on purpose, because remember, renewals is a way of knowing if they're still using the product and that they're happy with the product. Because if they're not going to renew, they're not going to go to a renewal situation if they aren't getting what they want from the product. And if you look here in the last one, 2022 to 24, we've had 20% growth of renewals per year. Okay, so in the last 3 years, we've had almost a 40% growth in 2 years of renewals, and that is phenomenal. That is really a huge growth mechanism. Today renewals account for 90% of our turnover. 10% is new sales, and that's the small, the guys still getting new companies together, etc. And that's really a minimal effect on the on our turnover, because it's not a huge amount of new sales. But renewals have grown 20% a year, showing you that people are happy with the products, happy with the third-party products, knowing they're getting a consistent result, knowing that they can do their month ends without issues, and that's what we have got in the Sage 300 marketplace. A solid base, solid technical expertise in you people that are our solution providers, that are like yourselves, that are able to install. And let me tell you one thing, and that is the magic of Sage 300. The technical expertise in Sage 300 in Africa is unbelievable. Have a look at the WhatsApp group that we have, and you can see that the people that they install, they know what they're talking about. Then you guys know what you're doing. You guys know technology. You don't just waffle off about cloud and about all these fancy words. You actually go in there and you actually, you're at the coalface. You have to deal with the problems. You have to deal with any issues at month end. No one else is going to help them except you. And that shows your solid technological expertise by the renewal growth we get, because the way you go in there, make sure it works. They don't want to change. They don't want to move away. They don't want to start trying to work out what to do. The client wants stability and technological information and advancement, and that's what you are providing. I mean, I will mention Mitch, for example. Sorry, Mitch, I know, but I am going to mention you. Mitch had to do an upgrade the other day. Hey, Mitch. And he told me, oh, well, we upgraded 380 databases. What the hell? Guys,
for one client.
Hey, am I right? For one client. 380 databases. Are you guys kidding me? Can you imagine using another product and thinking you're going to succeed? I'm sorry, Mitch, I know you were casually saying, well, we got it to work in 3 days. 3 days, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now, that is what we're dealing with. That is who we are. That is what we do. And I'm not saying, Peresoft is right there with you guys. We are in the same place. We want to make sure the product works. We want to make sure we have success. And we want to make sure that no other product can replace us. And that is why we are successful today. Okay, so let's just go into a bit more depth now. So what we're saying is, we're saying that the products are strong, the products are powerful, the ISVs are giving us solutions, and Peresoft is a leader in that. I will say that to you now. We have led the way in providing you with a solution, and the Rec Express product is a good example of where we are trying to take the product. Okay, so what we were trying to do, what I was trying to do right from the beginning, is to automate Rec Express, automate your bank recons to the point where it does most of the matching for you, most of the reconciliations for you, retrieves the data automatically, and allows the user to sit back and just click a button and watch it do its own thing. So this is the Rec Express today. If you install it correctly and you put it into the system correctly, you are now able to do complete automation with Rec Express to the point where you sit back, click a button, and it does all the dirty work for you. Okay, so just to summarize Rec Express, with 24 came the bank feeds, and 25 got it even more finalized. And what we allow now is 3 methods of you being able to retrieve your bank statement. The old method, which has been around for 20 years, which is by the user, where they import the bank statement manually. Okay, the new versions now allow you to bring in bank statements that are automatically downloaded by the bank into a client's folder. Okay, so they don't have to actually retrieve the bank statement or even log in. I find this is the most powerful way of doing things, together with the Sage bank feeds. Now, the Sage bank feeds do work fully. I will show you very briefly a screen where I'm using it, okay, where it integrates fully with Rec Express as well, but only with your clients that are on subscription. So if your client's not on subscription, they won't be able to use the Sage bank feeds because it is based on a subscription basis, okay? But it is available. They have not finished the licensing. I think Mike and I were discussing this in March, April, hey, Mike? Am I right? Or May? Okay, Mike's just gone on mute. But
yeah, that's right, Bob.
That's right. And they've never fixed it, hey? They've never got there yet, which is a bit disappointing. Am I right?
It is.
Yeah, but we do know that if your client's on subscription, the bank feeds are available. They are ready for you. Okay, so those are the 3 methods you can use. Using those 3 methods gives you a complete a coverage of all the bank imports, all the bank statements, and all the bank accounts. And using these 3 will allow you to do an automated bank reconciliation without importing. The import, number 1, you can actually copy that file yourself into the SFTP folder and make it part of the SFTP download. There is a way of doing that, and therefore you can use 2 and 3 only. And that retrieves everything for you. It retrieves it, as you know, into a temporary area, which you can then process at your leisure whenever you're ready. Okay. Okay? Let me just see something here. Okay, we'll go backwards here. I want to know where You've got the bank feed in Cashbook. So, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the individual situation. Before we go into the 4 new features we've added to the Cashbook, I want to just take you into, where's the bank feed folder? Here it is. Okay, I want to carry on the same topic, which is bank feeds. Okay, so if you have the bank feeds activated for the client, which would be available, as I said, to subscription clients, you'll see we've built the bank feed into Cashbook completely. You don't go into bank services at all. You go straight into your bank. You tell it you want to use the bank feed. It then pops up all the bank information you want to go, and you can actually switch on the bank feed and retrieve the statements you need to retrieve yourself. Now, I have got SFTP I'm using for my, I use SFTP for my main bank accounts, current accounts, which is available from the banks. Some of the banks don't export or download their visas and call accounts. So you want to use the bank feed then from Sage to retrieve the visa. So I'll just give you a quick example here. Okay, so what I've got here, for example, okay, is 4 different bank accounts here. The call account, a Peresoft account, a sales account, or a salary account, and a visa account. And what I do every month is I then go to retrieve, switch all these other functions off, like this, and go to retrieve, and then I go and I change the dates to process the new month, and hit the activate, and I say run now. And when I say run now, it automatically goes to each of the banks and retrieves all the bank statement information for that particular month. Once I've done that, okay, I then use it again. I switch off the automation. I go into each bank, make sure they've got all the rules set up correctly, that there's nothing in the other account, the other we use as a didn't find a rule, fix all those rules. And once I've then done all the rules, I then go back to my timer and I switch on renumber, create, post, and post regex. When I hit the activate now, it runs through all of these banks, doing all 4 of these processes. So I don't miss any process. And this, I just sit back, have a cup of coffee, and watch it doing it. No interruption, no intervention from the clients necessary. And it brings in the bank statement, does the recon, posts the batch, and even completes it all for me, and I don't have to do one single thing. The whole point of this is I don't forget to post the regex, or don't forget to create batches and leave a batch out. This is why it's so nice to use the automation process in RecExpress, and that's actually where we at in RecExpress. So the automation now is complete. There's nothing more we can really do. Okay, now there's one other thing we do as well, which I want to tell you about. Every morning I only have the retrieve on, okay? And what happens is every 24 hours, it fetches all the bank statements from the folder that's been downloaded by the bank and puts them into the temporary area. And then I can then pull reports from that myself, written by Sage, within the Sage environment, for example, to get certain software assurance, etc. And then Sam or Murty would just print that report, and they will get all the information they need for that day. That does not go into RecEx for reconciliation yet, because we're in the middle of the month. So we don't want to start reconciling. At the end of the month, I then do my retrieve into the actual Cashbook itself and do the reconciliations. So you really have got a lot of more power with RecExpress, and that is going to be the future. I think you want to take your clients to that future. There's no doubt you want to go there. Okay, so let's just go back now. I know I jump around. Sorry, guys, but it's really. Bobby Peril always digresses. He says, "Yeah, he's there and he's everywhere," because we know our products, right? We know what we're doing. Okay, so that is now where we're at in the Cashbook 2024 with automatic bank reconciliations, etc. So what we came to is, what are we going to do for 2025? And then we sat down and we thought, hold on, they want to email the remittance advices. Okay, so we've added the emailing of remittances, which is a great feature. We've also added authorizations, okay, which we are enhancing all the time as we get to use it, because we want to improve it to the point where it's fully automated as well. Sage Bank Feeds is already in 24, but even better in 25. And then, of course, we have more EFT audit reports, which we can discuss at the end. Okay, So let's go into the first feature. So before I move on into these features, does anybody have any questions on the Rec Express and ACPAC of Sage 300 and its future? What do they think of Sage not promoting it at all? Are you disappointed in that? Do you want to see a bit more more of that? Do you think we can change that? Do we care? Any questions?
Francois' hands up.
Yes, Francois.
Is there any move on more security on the EFT miscellaneous codes? Double approval type of thing? Or have you got anything in the pipeline for that?
Rita?
Well, you'll be able to use the authorizations now. So you can have up to 3 users set up to authorize batches.
Yeah, but we haven't added that to miscellaneous though. We do have an approval at the moment where somebody can go in and approve the miscellaneous code, but we haven't actually put those authorizations at that level. Hey, Karita, it's a one-click facility at the moment. Yeah.
And then we also have added that if you want to authorize EFT batches, you can make the users print the EFT miscellaneous audit trail before they're allowed to authorize.
Yeah, there's just a movement out there with all the auditors, bank accounts and changes to bank accounts. They want workflows, they want authorizations, and they want attachments for bank confirmation letters, all sorts that we have to do in other products. Would be nice to be in Cashbook itself.
Okay, so so go for it. Okay, I'm just going to take you down very briefly. Isn't here, Rita, where did you have your authorization here built in here?
So we don't have authorizations in the EFT miscellaneous codes. But it will write everything to an audit list. Yes, in the bank security, you can select to force the printing before you authorize.
What's this? What's approved?
Yeah, okay, that's just the approved from our batch entry screen. But if it's set up here, then we don't ask for another approval. So we did actually thought that we could maybe use that flag. So what else did they require? Yes.
You were saying that, yeah.
There's such a big focus on the security with bank accounts that we have now multiple customers that we have to totally block this function for people not to get to it, and then use something like BPM in a process that will update the bank details because there's so much fraud. And yeah, like I say, it just would be nice if it was in Cashbook and not outside of Cashbook.
Okay, could we go through with you another time and ask exactly what you would like there and how?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Okay, and then Mitch, you have your hand up?
Hold on, before we move on.
Sorry.
Okay, what happened to your approval flag here, Karita?
Down bottom right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what that is, just to explain how that works.
So that's only if you're adding an entry on the fly, a bank name, bank account. And so it doesn't exist in miscellaneous codes already.
No. I understand that. What I'm trying to say to you is, if you enter a miscellaneous code on the fly, then it has to be approved by somebody else if they have not got the approval security. So they can enter a miscellaneous code here, but then the actual person that approves the miscellaneous has to come here and switch on that flag. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, that approval, we could obviously move that as well if you wanted to miscellaneous codes. Okay, so am I right, Rita?
Yes. And then every time they change something, somebody would have to come and approve it. Would that be enough though?
I've got bugs. Look at this, I've got a bug. Sorry, I tend to be a bit naughty. Sorry, Francois, carry on.
The one thing that's lacking here is like a kind of a workflow, and then also the bank confirmation letter that cannot be attached.
Okay.
Yeah. So do me a favor. I'll tell you what I need to do. Can Carita and can you set up a meeting with Francois? Do you mind? And we can just go through
not at all.
quickly. Because we are in the middle of doing this. Yes,
we
yes,
are
go for it.
doing this whole thing at Rosant, where you guys helped us with the
Yes,
SFTP.
yes.
So it is familiar territory, and I'm
Brilliant.
more than obliged to take you through the process.
Excellent. So Natalie, will you set up a meeting with Carita and Francois?
Definitely.
And we can do the spec exactly, because Rosant, I do know, is critical to doing authorizations and that. And Francois, I believe that are you guys running smoothly with your EFT batches and that?
Yeah, we are, and we have taken it one step further by integrating people right from people into the cash book to the bank without any interference or manual intervention.
Brilliant. Excellent. So we'd love to add the approvals to the miscellaneous. We'd love to, because we are looking for features. You know, we've got so much already in. We want to close off every feature as much as possible. So Natalie will organize with you, and we can have a meeting, and we'll do it with pleasure. Brilliant. Brilliant. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Francois. Mitch, your turn.
Yeah, thanks. Bobby, I just wanted to find out from you guys if you are planning on doing anything with regards to digital IDs. Not sure if you're aware, but BankServe will basically be taken over by the Reserve Bank, and there is a huge discussion at the moment regarding digital IDs. How would that be incorporated within Peresoft in future versions potentially?
Well, we'll have another meeting, Natalie, with Mitch. He will help us see how we can integrate it into Cashbook. Yeah, we'd love to do that as well. So yes, we're keen to get involved. So do you have any more info on that? Because we haven't looked at that at all at the moment.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
That was this discussion that I spoke to you about the other day. So looking forward to that chat. Yes.
Brilliant. So let's take it further. Let's have another meeting with you, and we can integrate it. You know, like you say, how are you going to do it? Well, we don't know until we actually see what it needs. And obviously we will then integrate it. We are keen to do these things and keep up with the banks, because I do believe you're right. The more they're doing these all these new features for security because of the problems out there, it's very important that we add them to the cash book as well. So yeah, Natalie, another appointment, please.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, cool. I see that Sage have released what they call e-invoicing. That's I believe has to be also introduced into Africa. Am I right in that? No. There's a whole
it's going to be interesting to see how that transpires, but yes, I also heard about that. Yes.
Yeah, they brought it out. I don't know how they've put it into the product. I believe it's in 2025. So it would be nice to see if that's. I do know. I don't know about South Africa, but in Africa, you've got to send your invoice now via some official what do you call it, department or whatever, to confirm the invoice values or something. So that will be interesting to see how that works. Great. Okay, so we will take that further with you, and we also want to know. I'm going to go through now the remittances first. This is straightforward. I don't think there's much more we can do with the email remittances. But what we've done is we allow you now to set up the email settings in your options and how the email would work, where you would enter your SMTP information, etc., and where to go and how to link to your emails. Okay, and you can obviously then add an email message as to what you want to email the client when you do send the remittances. This is exactly the same as Sage 300. We've used the same way of doing this with a dollar company contact and all those variables that you want to add to the remittance message. Okay, and then you can then add to the miscellaneous codes, which obviously would work together with the accounts payable, and it'll be by using the email. Okay, and then you use the email address, and you can also use the contact, and then it will email. You can see over here, you can set up the miscellaneous codes email addresses as well. Okay, you can have the email there as well. Okay, and then when you print your advice, either online, one at a time, or in a group, okay, you can then send the email to the client with the message, etc., and the remittance advices. Okay, Wayne, do you want to add anything that I've covered here that might be of necessary for people to know? Pretty straightforward, this.
Yeah, no, I
Nothing
don't think so.
fancy.
You've said it all. Once it's set up in Cashbook options and you send a test email and it's working,
There we
you just
go.
have to make sure you've set your miscellaneous codes up for email.
Yes.
If you want to email the advice, and then it's all automated through batch for online printing or for continuous printing offline by batch. It's
Okay.
that simple.
Right, and I presume if it's a accounts payable vendor, do we obviously add that to our miscellaneous codes automatically, I think, and then
Yeah.
you have to still flag it in miscodes. Am I right?
Yeah, you do have to go through your miscodes and change the delivery method, which always defaulted previously to mail, as in snail mail. So you have to go and set up if you want to email and who you want to email, the vendor or a particular email contact.
Okay, cool. And it automatically picks up the vendors, I think, and adds them automatically to the miscodes. Am I right?
Yeah, it's always done that. Yeah.
It's always done that. So all your miscellaneous, all your vendor codes will be in automatically in the actual miscodes as well for you to change the email flag there. Okay. You could always import, if you want everyone to get email, you could always export and then import the miscodes with that flag on. Okay. It's up to you to see how you want to do that. Okay. I just think there's nothing much else about that. Yeah, go for it.
I think also to mention at the moment it's only available on premise, but we are speaking with Sage to get it available on the web. Am I right, Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Yes.
I should have said that. Not currently available on the web, but in development together with JT and Sage. It's something we have to do with them.
And the main reason there is because we don't know where the attachment goes. So at the moment when we print the attachment from Crystal, we know where it is and we know where we can pick it up and send it. Where from the web, obviously because of the download paths and the browser and all that stuff, we have to get a bit more information as to where Sage will put it. Am I right?
Yeah. In fact, not just more information. Sage has to make available that information to us. It's not available to us right now. That's the problem. But JT is working on it, and he's hoping for PU1, but it might be PU2 only. It depends. They have to put it into their PU first before we can use it.
Okay, cool.
Great.
But this, yes, go for it.
I was just going to say, Francois has his hand up.
Go for it, Francois. We love it.
Can I be a pain? This email setup has been quite a painful thing if people use Office 365, and the graph setup in Sage has taken away that pain quite a bit. What is the options? Is it only just basic authentication SMTP, and is it TLS, whatever that Office 365 now allows, or are we going to run into this problem again?
Again, we don't know what's different. We offer SSL, we offer the normal standard setup, which is from Outlook. We didn't know that there's other securities available or whatever, but we're using Office 365 here, which is basically Outlook. Am I right?
Yeah, Office 365 has this problem with, I think, TLS1. If you use TLS1 as a security layer or something like that, then it doesn't work with Office 365. So, like I say, the graph has sorted that problem out. If someone is more technical, that can perhaps better explain it. But this has proven quite an issue with Office 365.
Yeah, Francois, that's a good point you're raising, because at the moment, Cashbook is only emailing via basic authentication SMTP. That's something we also we got in the pipeline to finish to interface to Microsoft Graph.
That works much better.
Okay.
So that's something to look at. We can look at that now, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have a look at that. We'll put it into hopefully PO1 and make sure it works.
Right.
Okay, PO1 is going to be out the next 2-3 weeks. Am I right?
It was JT did mention from the 6th of December. That's if they're all on time.
Okay, between the 6th and 12th. Okay, so we will have a PU1 then because there are a few things we've done in the authentic. When we go through the authorizations, I think you're probably going to rip us apart, but we love that, okay, because we can only add new features. But there will be a few things that you'll want to do, and we want to put them in as soon as possible. So we would like some critical analysis and comments, because obviously the authorization section, there's so many things we can do with it and so many ways of dealing with it. So it will be nice to have a lot of feedback as possible on that. Okay, so we really got some feedback here. We want to look at that security with the, what do you call it, Office Graph?
Microsoft
I
Graph.
think it's Microsoft Graph.
Okay, oh, I must get off the golf course, eh? Am I right? Get involved. No comment. Stay on the golf course, Bob. We don't need you here. Okay, so we'll look into that, Francois. No problem at all. Great. Natalie, you're obviously making notes and keeping track of all
Yes,
of
of course. Yes.
Of course you are. Okay, cool. So what we've done is we've now onto authorization. So obviously there is a lot of things we can still add to authorizations, and you will make comments and say, no, that's not how to do it. Do it this way, do it that way, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what we've done is in security, we've added a number of authorizations up to 3 different, let me just go to the slide where it shows. Yeah, okay. So what we've done is we've allowed up to 3 different authorization levels for the user, so they can go and they can authorize the batch number 1, number 2, and number 3, and it will then, they can then switch on approved, and then once the 3rd person's approved, it then allows the batch to be posted. Okay, so the first comment I'm going to make here, let me go backwards. Okay, so we set up the 3 different authorizations, and we've said, okay, you can do it either for EFT batches only, for authorizations, and if you do that, you can force them to lift to the listing of the audit trail of the EFT audit list before they can authorize it, to force them having to print the audit list to make sure it's correct. Okay, you can also add as many users as you want for authorizations, and we also allow an authorization person who's got a level 3 or 2 that can override the 1. So if the guy's on holiday or there's somebody not available for number 1, then number 2 can override number 1. Obviously, 1 can't override number 2. Okay. We also added where you can have more than 1 user with authorization 2. Again, if somebody's not available, then the other person can do the authorizations, etc. And then, of course, we've got 3 levels here, 3, 2, 1, and they've all got to be authorized accordingly before the batch can be posted. Okay. Once you've done, okay, can I ask, now this has all been developed by Karita and without me, as I say, because I've actually stepped back a bit and let them get involved. Do you want to add anything at that point, Karita, before we go any further? No, I don't think so.
No.
No, okay. So what we now do is
is this feature available in web also, right? I can see.
Say again, in where?
The feature is available in web as well. Web
no,
screen.
this will be in web, yes. Yeah, I'm showing it to you now in, here's the web screen in the background. Okay. So it's on the web and it's available on premise. Okay. Okay, we are going to add a few more things for PU1. So we've changed a bit of the language because when we released this, I wasn't happy with the certain languages. So PU1 is the best time. Once you've got that in, I would then start using it at that point. I would wait a bit because the first release, we didn't have some of the language was a bit confusing. So we've changed that. Because if you look here, this is the batch list here. Same, here's the web version in the background. And what we've done here is we've allowed, here's the authorized column. But we found that the authorized column was not that easily visible. So we've also added the authorized column into the menu here, authorize. Okay, once on the batch, you can then authorize from there. And what it does is it pops up a screen showing you, okay, all the batches that have been or haven't been authorized. Okay, you can then select the status of what you want to see. Okay, and you can also select the level of what hasn't been authorized. You can then click on the ones that you need to authorize and you click approved. For example, here, admin has not approved this one yet. The user 1 and user 3 has and user, okay, this one is the same user because obviously the person was on leave or not available. So that user had the override ability and he could authorize 1 and 2. And then 3 was done by the final person. This is normally not admin. This would be user 4 or CFO or somebody. Okay. So this is where they would authorize. Once they've done the authorizing and it's complete, they can then ask you if you want to post the batch. Okay. And if you say no, it's obviously set the batch to ready to post. Then the person that does the posting will see it's ready to post and will be able to post the batch. Okay. Now this is going to be improved in the future because I said, for example, how would the person who does authorization number 3, how would he know that 2 and 1 have done the authorizing? He wants to have to now log in and do the authorizing, which I will discuss in a few minutes. So we now want to add in the next PU or the next version, the ability to send them an SMS or even an email to say it's been authorized, you can now go and authorize. And I want to also add to that email, if possible, the ability to click at the bottom of the email and say authorize without logging in. And it will automatically log in, authorize the batch, and log out. Okay, so the user, who I believe would never want to log in anyway, because A, they'd have to use a LAN pack, and B, they'd have to know what they're doing. And let's be honest, the CFO sitting in his ivory tower does not want to have to log into the product if necessary. He just wants it to be done by clicking something. So we want to look at doing that
on
as
the
well.
golf course.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah,
Hold
I
it
think.
against me. Okay. Okay. Yes, go for it. We're making jokes,
Bobby.
but let's be honest, this is serious stuff. Yes.
So we also requested the option for linking the document. Is there any field you included?
Yeah, Karita, tell them what we want to do.
Okay, so what we want to add to this screen would possibly be, do you want to email somebody or SMS them, and do you want to attach a document and to email them?
Yeah. So mostly now, most of the companies, they have kind of a document management system. So they can either link the web address to regard that document, so something like that. So they can click on that document link, they can open and verify, something like that.
Okay, so
yes.
hold on, go for it, Karita.
Oh, okay, now you go.
No, what I'm saying is that, okay, the document that we want to link is, okay, so what happens, let me tell you what we do, is what happens is when Murti enters a batch, or Samantha or Murti is authorizer number 1. So what she does is she then normally links the batch that's been printed as a document in a PDF to an email, and she sends that to me. Okay, that PDF has got the batch in there and what's been entered. Okay, there are 2 things she does to that batch before she sends it to me. She does a little recon at the bottom of the spreadsheet, because she prints it to Excel, and then she links that document and sends it to me. She also gets to mark each of the entries checked by marking them as red. So what we're going to add is we're going to add a button or a checkbox per entry. And what she'll do then is scroll through the batch and just tick each entry as she checks them to make sure that they're correct. So therefore, once she's checked all the entries, it will then allow her to authorize. But that's only going to go to the next version. At the moment, she's now manually emailing me a document. We want to add that to the next version. Again, why we're doing it only now is because we need to get it into the web as well, and we need to get JT to sort out our emailing before we can add it. And we are at a problem where we don't know where the file is going when they're actually printing it, etc. So it's invisible at the moment. So we need to get that solved with Sage, and that'll only be out in the next couple of months. But currently they're going to have to manually email and print the document itself. Now, I know what you're saying is, what about an approval document? Can you store that with this particular approval? We don't have document manager at the moment. No, so we don't, because that is a lot more complicated. And again, it's on premise is possible, but not on the web. Because where do we put the documents? Remember, they're all invisible. They're not, your paths in it aren't available unless we store the document on the server, and then it will become available. So we haven't quite worked that out yet. Okay, am I right?
I think, Bobby, maybe there is another way of doing it. Maybe I can explain. So most of the companies, they have a document management system, right? They upload their document in their, and it has a document series and whatever. So even if it I don't know, is it a cloud like Google Drive or somewhere, you get a link of that document. So if you can provide a field where they can enter that link, so
Good
it
idea.
will be verified. Actually, I suggested that in that earlier email when you referred me how we can do it. So maybe you can add like comment type of fields where they can attach multiple document links. Then when you send out the email, that link can be shared and they can verify and approve it.
Good idea. I like that. Yeah. I think we need another meeting here, Natalie.
Yeah, I've written it down. Don't worry.
How many
Thank
links
you,
would we need?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
How many links would we need, Arun? How many
That
documents
depends.
do they usually send?
Maybe like if it better like comment field where they can add multiple lines, it will be, I don't know. I'm sure there is other expertise
Okay.
here as well. They can suggest as well. Mitch is here.
Okay,
Brilliant.
great.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and then we'd like that. So when we do the spec on that and do it properly, we can then just give you a shout out and we can have a quick meeting, show you what we've done, and you can maybe comment and say, no, you've left this out, put this in, etc., which will be a great idea. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So you can add a button down their documents. Then we can have comment kind of multiple columns, maybe a table where they just attach the document link. Then that link can be shared when you mention about the emails. They can verify and also approve it. That link will be permanent.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what you were talking about, Karita, having a link.
Yeah. So the advantage is they even buy a OneDrive or
it can be anywhere.
account anywhere they can link.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can avoid the document management system as well.
I know, because we've looked in the document management system, and that was written, I think, by Orchid. And we mentioned, how can we integrate with your version? And they said, no problem, you do it like this in your on-premise. I then said to Orchid, what about the web? And they said, no, we haven't done it for the web. So
even the web, it can be done like this.
Exactly. And we don't have to have this full-on document management system, which is another whole ballgame, by the way. So we can avoid doing that. Okay, great. Right, we've got you on the list here, Arun. We're going to do that, and we'll get hold of you to finalize it and see if it works according to what you like. Great.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Bobby.
And as I said before, guys, this is the very first time we've done authorizations, and obviously we are going to come short on some levels because we haven't got the full access to the companies that you're dealing with, and their security internally, and obviously there's different levels and different companies. And we need to obviously expand it to incorporate all those different features that you would need. So great. So the more feedback we get, the much more complete system we're going to have at the end of the day, thanks to you guys. Okay, great. Okay, so once you've done the authorizing and once you've done the batch can then be posted and the approvals can go through, etc., etc. As you said, you'd like to have a document that attaches that was the approved batch, or there was a approval, whatever that needs to be added. We're going to add that as well in the future. Brilliant. Okay. Anything else you want to add to this authorization?
Can I just add, we've only done it for payment batches, and then you can select EFT only. Would people need it for receipt batches?
I don't think so. I mean,
very rare. Mostly it's for payments, for cash book as well as AP and EFT and whatever.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay.
So we were spot on there for a change. Okay, cool. Great. Okay, so let's move on to the next feature. Okay, and what you can do, obviously, we've now got these authorizations available on the batch list, on the batch print, and then we can choose what authorizations you want to print. Okay, that gives you a bit of a range of authorizations required. Okay. Okay, Rec Express, I've already shown you the bank feed, so I'm going to zoom straight through this. Okay, if you guys could hassle Sage a lot more.
I do think
Sorry,
Patty is on the call. I don't know if Patty.
Patty, we want to hassle
Sorry,
you.
Patty.
Sorry, Patty. I've got to remove this bug. He's on my computer and he's walking around my screen. Morning, Patty. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How is everybody?
We
Very
all
well.
well.
That's good.
We're waiting for your dealer subscription thingy-majingy. Excuse me.
Oh
Licensure.
yeah, no, yeah. We're still waiting for that. They're busy doing the. This is for 2025, you say?
Yes.
Yeah. We're waiting for the development guys to upload or to create the serial number for the demo before they can give it to us. The normal customer one is available, so we'll be releasing 2025 the 1st of December. But for the dealer demo, unless we have that, we actually did a follow-up on last week to find out how far they're doing. You know, they have to create like a serial number for NetAdmin to be able to generate demo codes for business partners, which they're busy doing. Unfortunately, there's only one developer that's busy that's allocated to do that at the moment. So yeah, but we will be ready for December.
And that's good news. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's wonderful news. Okay, cool. Because I'm sure people would love the bank feeds. I think it just makes it so much easier for them to interface to other banks and not have to worry about SFTPs and all that other stuff. So that will be great. Be a huge benefit to us. Thanks, Patty.
Yeah, the good news with the bank feeds as well is that they are busy upgrading the the actual bank feeds code so that it uses the latest what terminology do you guys developers use? They're busy actually upgrading it. So what's nice about bank
API.
feeds right now? Yes, yeah. So what's nice about bank feeds is that it's actually gained the attention of the developers. They actually allocated a developer to work on bank feeds now, just one developer to work on it and upgrade it. We were hoping that we'll have an upgraded version now in December, but unfortunately that's been postponed to, I think, about February, March next year. But the nice thing is that there's somebody specifically allocated to upgrade and manage bank feeds in the development side part of things.
Brilliant. Yeah, I also asked them, why can't we add our own formats to the bank feeds? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the bank isn't on the list.
Yeah.
Which will also be amazing. We can add third-party formats in there and add them to the list. So I'm hoping he's going to do that as well in the future. But they are working. You're right. They are doing a whole bunch of work on it, which is great. Which is good news. Very good news.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Okay. Right. I think we're at the end here, and I think the last thing is just briefly before we get as a keyword to do the help and just to give you some more information on how to work all of this. We've added a few audit reports. Karita, you want to just quickly give them a brief list of what we've done here? Because
okay, yes, we've just separated it because we've got the 3 audit lists now. So you'll be able to see the postings good because you can see what you've downloaded and uploaded via SFTP and all the changes you've done in the bank setup and the miscellaneous code setup.
Okay. That people can't just change without listing the audit and seeing what they've changed in miscodes, etc. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense, especially when you've got approved beneficiaries, etc. Great. Okay, as a keyword, you want to just quickly just take them through the help. Okay. Azza's done a lot of work on, just quickly give you a brief overview, a lot of work on the help, a lot of work, and obviously we want to be able to bring it more into, now that there's so many complicated setups, etc. in the system. So as I was just going to quickly zoom through a few of the helps that you've done. Go for it.
Morning, everyone. I'm just going to touch up on a few things about the help. For every format we've completed in our SFTP solution, we ensure all relevant information is included on our help, and this information comes directly from the bank, so you have the utmost accurate details at hand. And we also provide a Q&A for each SFTP format per bank, which you can use. And when which you can use when you contact the bank. And additionally, we have a quick links included in our help for ease of navigation. And then lastly, we also offer a detailed step-by-step guide on generating your SFTP keys and linking your Rec Express to the Sage Bank feeds. And all our guidelines are designed to be easy to follow, and our help is topic sensitive. And then last but not least, our help documentation is packed with answers and tips to make your work smoother and faster. Whether it's a quick question or you're exploring our new features, do not hesitate to dive in. It's here for you. Just press F1.
Brilliant. You put a lot in here, as
yeah,
a lot more. Like I'm looking here, where, for example, the bank feed step-by-step guides. This is critical for people when they want to set up something from scratch, haven't done it before.
And
lovely,
also if there's something they're unsure about, they mustn't be shy to press F1.
And if it's not in the help, it would be nice just drop an email to us and tell us, why is this not in the help? Hey, Azza.
Yeah, feel free to email me and then I'll put it in the help.
Yeah. So sorry, just to enlarge on this one here. On the left here, you see there's a SFTP Q&A, and what we do is in here, hey, Azza, we obviously go in depth as to who to contact at the bank.
Yes.
And what to ask for. Hey, just give them an overview quickly.
So in this Q&A, we've got like the guidelines on how to contact the bank and who to contact the bank when asking for the solution. And we have
so put on mute, Nat. Guys, on mute, please. Thank you. Carry on. Go for it again. Start at the beginning.
So this Q&A has the guides on how to contact the bank and who to contact at the bank when you want this SFTP solution from the bank. And so far we have the Q&A for Standard Bank, Nedbank, and we update it as we go along, as we complete the relevant banks that we're working with.
So let me just tell you something about the SFTP. There are two types of SFTP we're offering. The one is the bank feed for the Rec Express, and the other one is for EFT. The EFT one, you have to talk to the bank a bit more, get the format, etc. If it's a new bank that we haven't done before. But when it comes to the downloading of the bank statement, that you'll find we've done all the formats. All you've got to do there is sign up with the bank to get them to download the statement. And that's done. You know what I mean? You'll find the format they're going to give you to download has already been done by Peresoft. If it needs a bit of fine tuning, we'll do it absolutely FOC, free of charge, to get it to work for you. Now, people might say to me, what about, you've got bank feed, you've got SFTP. Just out of interest, which one's the better one to use? To be honest with you, I prefer the SFTP one because we have a lot more bank codes. It's customized to the client, much more in depth. And once you've got that running, once it's running, it's absolutely seamless from then onwards. For example, I'm just going to quickly show you something here very briefly. Let me just close this. So once everything's running, close. You can see I've got a bank folder here, and in my bank folder, it's got FGI, and it's got in, and look at that. There's all the bank statements. They come in every day easily, and then you never miss one. You'll never have to worry about logging in. You never have to worry. This is how this works. The beauty of these are that they're custom written for that bank. The bank feeds are great from Sage, and they are there for banks that don't have a download, like the Visa. But I recommend if the bank has a download for the current account, rather use this feature, which is custom written, as opposed to the Sage Bank feed, which only has one bank. It only has one bank transaction type. That is what's actually debits and credits. It doesn't give you all the different transaction types. So you'd have to write your bank template, your rules would have to work purely on description and not on the actual bank transaction type. So, for example, bank charges, we would automatically put all the bank charges to the bank charges category for you without doing a rule. Okay, if it has to be done via the bank feeds with Sage, I'm afraid, hopefully they will enhance this in the future. It would have to be by description, which you would have to set up in the rules. So that is the advantage of using the SFTP feed. It's much more detailed. It will give you a rule. It will break up a rules template for you much more in depth than just the bank feeds from SageRun. So just to briefly summarize, I use all my current accounts are using the downloaded bank feeds from the bank, and the Visa, which is not available from the bank, is only available from the bank feeds. I then use the Visa from the bank feed from Sage, and you can mix them together. They are totally mixed. They work together in one form together. There's no separate retrieve function for them. Okay, so that's my advice for the future. Again, Natalie and Az are offering training on that. And also individual training. Just talk a bit on that for a minute.
Yeah, so we offer weekly training sessions, but on top of those sessions, we also do offer private training sessions. So, if you and your colleagues would like to join us for a private session, all you have to do is drop us an email, and we can set up a time and a date, and we can go through the SFTP rules, etc.
And if you're busy wanting to set up at the client itself, we are welcome to help you. Am I right, Natalie?
Yes. There have been a few scenarios where, I've jumped on a call with some dealers, and I've assisted them through the steps.
Brilliant. Okay. And what's the time?
Yeah, it's almost 10 past.
Okay, so quickly to finish, just very quickly, just to give you one more mention about Sage 300 in the marketplace. I'm going to be a bit blunt on this one, because obviously nobody's promoting these products excepting Peresoft and some of your dealers are doing it in the marketplace. We publish an article every month in the IT web, and we're very keen to get involved with you guys and publish articles about yourselves, if necessary, or about your client success stories. We'd like to keep it success stories and put them in free of charge. We'll do an article if you want one, free of charge, and get your name out or your client's success out there to promote 300. We to be honest with you, I will be honest, and I've never not been honest, I'm extremely disappointed that we are the only ones that are promoting 300. And our distributors decided not to help. We find that silly, because we've always said that if we could have done a cloud version, a native cloud version for 300, I reckon we would have over 1,000 people already signed up on that version as a native cloud. So we've missed a bit of an opportunity there that could have promoted sales and made our success even bigger. So it is a bit disappointing that we get pushed aside. But we're not going to be pushed aside. We are going to promote the product. The product's got a huge future. It's got a huge base of technical expertise that is way ahead of most products. I don't even know any product that can match our products, I'll be honest with you. With all the ISVs involved and all the add-ons and all that, it's just unique, it's special, and that's why it always survives. And therefore, if you look at all our articles we've written, some of them are good, some of them are interesting, but we're also keen to help you guys also get it out there. We will promote 300 as hard as we can. And although Sage does support us and help us, it would be nice if the kickoff had also included a 300 session, etc. I believe TPAC was a good example of the promotion of 300. And we again look forward to next year, again, having a good promotion from TPAC, and appreciate what Doug has done. And let's see where it takes us. But I reckon we've got at least 10, 20 years left of a growth of a market product. And like I said, it's interesting to see how much stronger we have got in 40 years as opposed to weaker. And we have never been stronger than this. And with that, I would thank you all for joining us today. It was a great session. I think we had a lot of lovely information being fed to us, and we look forward to find out. So before we go, is there any more questions we'd like to just to quickly take from here? I don't know. I think we've done most of it together, and we will have another great session on the 22nd with Mitch. Please join us there, because I think Mitch is doing a great job in doing that. Hey, Mitch, thank you very much. Great. On that noise, let me see, we've got lots of webinars training out there. That's the end of our demo. Any final comments? And I think we've run over our time a bit, but it was very good. I really enjoyed that. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers, hey.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye-bye.